Hey everybody, Cranky Stacker, how you doing today? Well, I had a day, I might say, um, and the holidays are upon us. uh, um, a little bit of the fire is gone right now from it, but I did have a little rant stored up. Um, and I'll tell you a couple of stories while I'm telling you this. So anyway, busy day. I had my truck scheduled to get it in. I had to take the girls to the spa. The Cranky Canines had a spa day today, and so I had several things to get done, half of which I actually got done. But it just pushes me back for getting out of town to see Grandma Cranky tomorrow later than I wanted to. But um, it just was one of those days. The Sometimes it seems like the more you plan things, the bigger the disappointment if it doesn't come off right. Does that sound right? Anyway, so the day went okay until I had to schedule my truck to get it in to get the fluids checked, and got a differential leak that I got to get filled up tomorrow, and blah blah blah. Well, it's tomorrow now because I had an appointment. That ties in later on in the story, but here we go. Um, so yeah, I got a couple things done. Had to I got a text from my sister, um, and this is how everything just jumps off the rails real quick. So I went to uh, I went to the post office, and my sister texted me and said, "Hey, I cannot find anywhere the tarragon vinegar for my dad's salad recipe." Now, to explain the importance of that, my dad, my father, was his aunt lived in Anaheim, California for years and years. I mean, Disneyland was not even open when she moved out to California. But um, she was a good friend of a silent screen actress, and this was early '60s, who actually made was one of the few um, actresses in silent films that actually made the transition successfully into talkies, into movies with a soundtrack. And her name was Greer Garson. If you have a chance, Google Greer Garson. She was an absolutely beautiful young lady. But she was a good friend of my great aunt's out in Anaheim, California, and she used to hobnob with the likes of the Rat Pack and that type of thing. So, make a long story a little bit shorter. Um, my aunt had my dad out to my great aunt had my dad out to cook a dinner for her, and Greer Garson was at that dinner, and he was introduced to Greer Garson, and Greer Garson in turn really liked what he had done, and so she hired him to do a dinner for her, and so he did, and Dean Martin happened to be there, and at that point in time, it was kind of kismet, I guess, fate, whatever you'd call it. But anyway, my father met Dean Martin the night of that dinner, and Dean was very happy with what my father had done. Now, he has a Caesar salad recipe that has tarragon vinegar in it, and I'm going to tell you right now, the salad is not the same. Cannot be done without tarragon vinegar. And you would think that would be something this day and age pretty easy to find. No, no. Anyway, my sister called and said, "Hey, I can't find tarragon vinegar up here anywhere. Could you have some? Could you get some?" Well, I thought I had 3 bottles here at Cranky Acres and in the Cranky Kitchen, and so I said, "Yeah, I got it covered. I'm hoarding 3 bottles right now." So I came home, found out that it has been used for various other things, cleaning and some cooking and things like that. But anyway, it was not here. So I had to go find a bottle of tarragon vinegar. Folks, nobody in the city of a million, nobody that I went to had tarragon vinegar. Got balsamic and all kinds of things. But no tarragon. So, make a longer story longer. I went to Hy-Vee. I went to Baker's, which is a branch of Kroger. Neither of them knew what I was talking about. Not that those were the best chances to get it. So I went to Target. Target didn't have it. I went, and I hate going to Target. I went to Big Lots in the off chance right next door. They did not have it. So after I had dropped the dogs off and went to all these places, I decided I would go down to a bigger Hy-Vee store and see if I could find it there. No. So I went to a couple of stores that I absolutely, positively despise going to on a regular day, much less 2 days before Thanksgiving. Now, I'm going to explain a little bit about the Regency area of Omaha. It is, it's the new money millionaires neighborhood. 4 to 10,000 square foot houses. Lots of BMWs, lots of this and lots of that. So at the top of a hill on Regency Boulevard, at one end, at the north end, there's a Whole Foods store. On the south end, at the bottom of the hill, there is a Trader Joe's. And in between, there's a neighborhood called Regency, and there's a shopping center called Regency Park. And there's a jewelry store in here, just to give you some reference. There's a jewelry store in there called Borsheim's. Borsheim's is owned by a company that's owned by the Oracle of Omaha, if you know who I'm talking about. If you don't, look him up. Mr. B, you can't even walk in the door for less than $1,000 in that place. So that just gives you kind of an idea of what this area was like. So I went to the Whole Foods, and on the Regency Parkway, right in front of me, some dipstick driving a BMW Roadster stalled it out in front of me. And traffic is pretty heavy because it was afternoon and it's 2 days before Thanksgiving, and I knew kind of what I was going to get into, but not quite. So once I got around the guy in the stalled BMW, I got to Whole Foods, and I got to tell you, what really, really got me was the clientele are a bunch of Birkenstock, Eddie Bauer back in the day, Abercrombie and Fitch wearing kind of fools that are just so rude all the time, much less in a gaggle or a bunch. So I encountered in the parking lot probably half a dozen. First of all, the place was packed, and I encountered at least a half dozen cars and SUVs that were parked this way in a parking place, not straight, this way. So, the parking lot on a busy day was reduced by at least 10 spots. That got her really started. So I finally got into a place, got inside, and it was elbow to elbow in there of snobbish, well-to-do, seemingly malnourished, the kind of people that you just, I was looking at them going, man, you need You need like a 20-gram protein enema or something. Maybe that'll sweeten your disposition a little bit. Just rude to each other, rude to everybody that worked in the place, banging into each other and looking at each other like they were just going to kill each other. And it just was more than I could stand. And of course, they did not have it. So I had to go on down the hill to Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's also has that kind of people there. And also the wannabe snobs. Oh my God. It was intolerable. Why do people do these things? I mean, these people, you can tell by looking at these people that they're not happy to begin with, and that they're doing these things more out of obligation than family get together and spending time with people they care about. Absolutely despise that kind of people, but that's what I was surrounded with today. En masse. It was bad. So, of course, they did not have it. And the guy in there, God bless him, the young man with a Trader Joe's stocking cap on actually took the time to go up to the front and ask the boss. And he said, you could probably have that drop shipped by Amazon. And at that point, I was seriously considering it and had already looked at that. But I went, I left there and almost got backed into by a guy in a SUV and another lady in an SUV. And they looked at me like, my truck's 23 years old, folks. It's almost a classic and it runs fine. It just ain't pretty. But anyway, I finally got out of the parking lot, went to a place called Fairway, and all they do is meats and cheeses and specialty items. And that's where the big silver cow is, or silver bull, that I posted a picture of on my channel a while back. Anyway, they had it. So I bought 3 bottles and I got that taken care of. However, I was running out of time because I had my truck scheduled at 4 o'clock to get in and get it checked and worked on. And I had to pick the dogs up. The dogs went in at 9:30 this morning. This is at 2:45 in the afternoon. So since I was on that end of town, I did put over 100 miles on my truck today, and I wound up back at home. So if that gives you any perspective as to what was going on, there you go. 100 miserable miles. I swear to God, everybody who was either inbred or had an eye for idiot on their driver's license was out and driving today. It was unbelievable. Unbelievable. Oh, and by the way, Walmart doesn't carry it either. So all those stores, all those places, all the highfalutin places and the lowfalutin places, low places, Walmart didn't have it. So I found it at Fairway Meat Market, and then I went to get the dogs. And as I was coming back, I was going to have just enough time to get the dogs at 3 o'clock, get back all the way back up to the north end of town, which is about 30 minutes, and drop them off and then get my truck back to get it worked on. And I'm driving down the road, and I was kind of gnawing on the edge of that. Anyway, my front tooth popped out. Now, I'm not in any pain. I haven't had real front teeth. The 2 in the front, I had bridge work for years and years. Matter of fact, I was a junior in high school, and some buddies and I were climbing rock climbing, and I fell off a waterfall and landed on my face, broke my front teeth out, and I've had bridge ever since. So anyway, it popped out. So I called the Omaha, shout out to Millard Hills Dental. If anybody comes to this town and breaks their face, I would suggest no place other than Millard Hills Dental. They're fantastic. So anyway, I got that fixed, and everything was fine after that to a degree. But there was a little lesson. I was absolutely fuming, steaming mad, and I was just sick of people. And So, as I was driving down the road, I looked over to the right of me, and probably 30 yards off the road, there's a fairway to a golf course. And there was at least a dozen turkeys. Now catch this, because this will give you a cranky perspective. This is how things get set right, get changed when you fall out of where you want to be. And I'll explain that here in just a second. But I was looking to the left there, and there was at least a dozen turkeys, and they were sprinting, almost in single file. It was like just bolting down the fairway, like they had no place to go, didn't have a clue where they were headed, but they were going there as fast as they could. And it just reminded me of people around the holidays here, especially not nice people. It's like, why do you do these things? Where are you going so fast? And that's the question that kind of popped up into my head right when I looked over and saw those turkeys. It was the joy is gone in so many people that it just struck me as a little life lesson. My perspective changed considerably, entirely. Where are they going so fast? Why they gotta hurry? Why they gotta do this? Why they gotta do that? They're not obligated to do anything. But I think the turkeys were put there for a reason, because it certainly changed my perspective. And I actually just started laughing out loud, because I got so close to having all of the joy just sucked out of my life by these toxic people today. So I guess the lesson is, it's okay to rant now and then, because people deserve it. I got my dogs and I went home. And by the way, I had 2 deer run out in front of me on the road because it was almost dark. Almost nailed one of them. That would have been a perfect way to end the day. But the perspective changed, and I found a little joy in my day. Happy to be anywhere. Sometimes I forget about that, and there's where I need to focus, right there. And I am absolutely certain that man put something in my path to make me bring back to perspective. I'm not here to impress anybody. Don't want to. But don't let this season be automatic to you. Don't let this season suck the joy out of your life, and don't let people do that to you. That's a cranky perspective on things. That's the way I would see things. I try to all the time, and I hope, I really, really wish that everybody that hears this could spend a day in the cranky perspective. Like I wish you could experience absolutely what the cranky one's all about, because then you'd have an understanding of a few things maybe that set me apart from other people, or you'll at least understand my perspective on some things. It's different than most. So the moral of the story is, don't let this holiday season suck the life out of you. Take the time to put your hands together like this, or don't put your hands together as you're driving down the road. Just try and look at things from a cranky perspective. It's different, and then you'll understand where I'm coming from on a lot of this stuff. Lost a little fire in the rant, but I got to tell you, folks, that lesson to me today was priceless, and right in line with where I want to be with things. So make sure you, I'm always saying nothing helps a bad mood like spreading it around. That was abundantly clear today. But conversely, nothing helps a good mood like spreading it around too. Do a little something nice for somebody. Angels to my friends. Yeah, that's pretty much what I had to say today. It was a life lesson, and they come to us every day if we let them. So don't get caught up in it, folks. It's a good place to be where we're at right now. It's just a little tough to take sometimes, but when you really put things in perspective, that's all nice. It's good. That's what things are about. So do something nice for somebody. Do something nice for yourself. Stay cranky, not too much, and have a good Thanksgiving, everybody. That's all I got to say about that. No horses reference today. Anyway, I'll be talking to you from the road, I'm sure. So everybody stay safe, shoot straight, keep stacking, stack the right stuff, y'all. Angels, this is for you. Have a good night, y'all. I'm out.